Welcome to the King Power Stadium, where Leicester City, who have lost all of their WSL games this season, take on Arsenal, who have won all of theirs. And a big change this week for the Foxes. Lydia Bedford has been sacked, with the former Everton boss Willie Kirk moving from being director of football to manager. And what a time to be facing Arsenal, second in the table. The Gunners have won all of their WSL games this season. In fact, they've won a record 13 WSL games in a row, stretching back into last season. But they'll be without their injured captain, Leah Williamson, and no Viviana Miedema as well. We'll have more on that very shortly. As you can see, the rain is lashing down here at the King Power Stadium. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. It's Leicester City against Arsenal in the Barclays Women's Super League. And look at these conditions. It's going to make for a very interesting battle out on the pitch. I'm pleased to say down here pitch side, I'm joined by the former Lioness and WSL defender Anita Osanto, who I imagine is pretty happy to be here under an umbrella rather than playing this afternoon. We'll hear from Anita very shortly, but let's get straight stuck in to the big story of the week. Leicester City with a new manager, Willie Kirk. He's been speaking to Pete Mullenstein.
Well, it's been quite a dramatic week. How have you and the players coped with such a quick turnaround?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's been. It's been a quick turnaround. There's not really been much time to think about anything else apart from this game, which I think is a positive. You know, we've been straight into preparations for Arsenal, and everybody's looking forward to it.
3 changes since that loss against Reading. CJ Bott, Abby McManus and Demi Vance all coming in. Just explain the reasoning behind those changes.
Yeah, you can see they're 3 fairly defensive-minded players. You know, we are playing against, for me, the best team in Europe just now, so we need to make sure that, or try to be as defensively secure as possible, and then build into the game from there. So, you know, they're 3 experienced players with a number of international caps amongst them. So, you know, they bring a lot of qualities to the team, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what impact they have today.
You obviously know the players really well. What do you want to see from them out on that pitch today?
You know what, I've told them just to be relaxed about it and learn as much as possible about themselves and about each other. You know, as I said, I think Arsenal's probably the form team in Europe just now. They've been exceptional so far this season, and this is the levels that we want to aspire to. This is the levels that we have to face, not just against Arsenal, but against a number of teams in this league. So it's about learning as much as possible today and then allowing us to move forward.
Best of luck today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's important to note that this change in manager only happened on Thursday after Lydia Bedford had done her pre-match press conference. What did you make of the decision to part company with Lydia Bedford and bring in their former director of football, Willie Kirk?
Well, obviously Leicester are sitting at the bottom of the table, 0 points, no goals, so they needed a change somewhere to make a difference. And Willie Kirk comes in came in as a sport director of football, and normally that's the position that is appointing managers. And now he's found himself in this position. He's got the experience to really lift the team like this. You know, he's been here before with Bristol, a side that he kept up in 2 seasons. You know, who were in the relegation battle. So he has experience to sort of pull a team like this together, who need to find a way to fight back in this league.
Yeah, seeing Leicester's record so far this season, played 6, lost 6, goals scored 2, goals conceded 12. It is a big job on his hands, isn't it, Anita?
It's a massive job, but, you know, they had a massive blow against Reading, conceding late in the game, 90th minute, again in the 92nd minute, you know, in a very tight match where they needed a result. So today is really about him galvanising that locker room, you know, getting those players together and giving them that belief that they can, you know, work together and find results in other games. Maybe not today, but, you know, as the season goes on.
He does make changes. It looks like he's shoring up the defence, is it safe to say?
Yeah, you know, Willie's made 3 changes into that back line, and I think if you look at Arsenal's record at the moment, they've had 55 shots in 2 matches. Just shows how ruthless they are in and around the box. So he knows he's going to need big leaders in the defence today, and they're going to have to make really good decisions to stop Arsenal.
OK, I'll tell you what, let's take a look at the Barclays WSL table coming in to today's game. Arsenal second to Manchester United, only due to the fact they've conceded a single goal. They've both scored 14 goals in their 5 games. Chelsea on 15 points as well, but they have played 1 game more. Leicester down at the bottom, as you can see. A reminder, just 1 team relegated from the WSL each season. Now it is, again, a busy afternoon in the WSL. There are now just 3 fixtures kicking off at 2 p.m. Spurs versus Everton has been postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. West Ham against Brighton is at 3 p.m. and then a mouth-watering clash this evening as Manchester United host Chelsea. It's first against third. All the action from that will be on the Women's Football Show later with myself, Anita and Siobhan Chamberlain. Let's now focus on Arsenal and hear from their manager, Jonas Eidevall.
Pim Millenstein with Jonas Eidevall. Jonas, 2 changes since your game last weekend. Of course, Jordan Nobbs coming in for Kim Little, Laura Wienreuter as well. Just explain the impact that Jordan Nobbs has had on the team so far this season.
She has been coming off the bench tremendously well. She started against Zurich in the Champions League and did that very well. So I'm excited to see her start today, and she's been a really important player so far this season. I hope that continues. And
the change as well with Laura Wienreuter in for Noelle Moritz.
Yeah, Laura was out with a minor muscle injury that made her miss the game before West Ham, the Zurich game. So she's returned now to full fitness, and I think she has been playing very well. So I'm happy to have her back in the starting lineup.
Of course, the big news this week is that Vivianne Miedema is not in the squad this time around. How much of an impact will that be for you today that she's missing?
Of course, we miss all players that we can't select. Viv is one of them, but also Kim Little, Leah Williamson, Rafaela Sosa. But we have to focus on the players that we have here. They're the one that's going to do the job, and they are ready and focused for this task here today.
How important will it be for her as well to come back fully fit for the rest of the season for Arsenal as a club?
I think that's for everyone. When we are here with the demands that we have in our schedule and our environment, we need to be here 100%. So that's for Vivianne Miedema, and that's for all the other players and staff. And as much as we can keep fresh, the better we will be prepared for all the challenges we will have this season.
Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Look at that, the fans inside here. Not long to go until kick-off now. I'm glad they've got their woolly hats on because the temperature has dropped inside here. Raincoats needed as well. Let's focus in on Arsenal a little bit more, Anita. Vivianne Miedema, let's tackle that one firstly. Jonas Eidevall didn't want to be drawn on it too much. What did you make of his decision to allow her this time off?
I think it's quite refreshing, actually. Miedema is the all-time WSL goal scorer. You know, she is an important member of this side, but she's had a lot of minutes for both club and country. She also had COVID during the Euros, where she also missed matches. And to see Jonas Eidevall, you know, factor in her long-term well-being so that she comes back mentally and physically ready to compete for the whole season, that's going to be hugely important in a team that's competing in the title race.
It perhaps shows just how strong their squad is as well, that they can afford her this time off. Stina Blackstenius is someone that's come in and done so well for them this season, hasn't she?
Yeah, I've played against Stina, you know, many a time when I played for Villa, and she's a difficult player to meet because she stretches games. She will constantly run in behind into the space. You know, she's played 5 games and scored 3 goals, and she's always a threat, you know, in the attack. And I think she's got multiple ways to score now. You know, she's a threat in the air, but she's also able to take different types of finishes in and around the box as well as link in with her teammates.
Arsenal, as for them this game, big game, can go back to the top of the table. Are you expecting this to be a win for them?
I am. I think if you're looking at the players on the pitch, you've got Jordan Nobbs starting in the side today, players like that, and Marnham, Ford, who are in flying form. You know, she's scored 2 unbelievable goals recently, and I think they'll just be full of confidence.
OK, well, as you can see, the teams are in the tunnel. It's time for us to take shelter and hand you over to your commentary team of Siobhan Chamberlain and Pim Millenstein.
Thank you, Kelly. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, while Arsenal were breaking records, Leicester City were busy reshuffling their leadership this week. Willie Kirk today takes charge of Leicester after Lydia Bedford's departure on Thursday, with the hope that today they can pick up their first points of the season. But they face arguably one of their toughest tests. Arsenal were history makers last week, securing their 13th WSL win in a row. And today is a chance to regain the top spot from Manchester United, at least for a couple of hours. Well, it's 3 changes for Leicester City since their 2-1 defeat to Reading last weekend. Demi Vance and CJ Bott both come in to the 11. Abby McManus makes her first WSL start this season, which means Molly Pike, Carrie Jones and Shannon O'Brien all drop to the bench. Natasha Flint is the only player to have scored for Leicester in the league this season. The other goal was an own goal. As for Arsenal then, it's 2 changes since their 3-1 victory over West Ham. Noelle Moritz makes way for Laura Wienreuter at right back. Kim Little is out with the injury she suffered at West Ham, so Jordan Nobbs comes into midfield. She scored the equaliser that inspired Arsenal's comeback at the weekend. There's no Viviana Miedemar in the Arsenal squad today. She's been granted leave as Leah Williamson and Rafaela Souza are still injured. There is Jordan Nobbs, who wears the captain's armband in place of Kim Little. Eileen Whelan as well. And the referee, Amy Fern. But first, as we approach Remembrance Day, the players, staff and fans inside the King Power Stadium will take a moment to remember those who lost their lives in battle. Two managers, Willie Kirk and Jonas Edeval, laying wreaths to pay their respects. Well, an opportunity today, Siobhan, for Arsenal to regain that top spot, albeit it could only be for a couple of hours. But Jordan Nobbs has been a real inspiration for Arsenal so far.
She has. She's been an important player for Arsenal for so many years now, and now she's back fit. She's had to fight to get into this Arsenal side. You never want to be back in because another player's got injured, but sometimes that's how the dice rolls and that's how you have to take it. And she's come in and she's been brilliant. She's scored important goals, and now it's an important opportunity for her to nail down this starting position, and hopefully for her, for England as well, moving forwards.
Jordan Nobbs scored the equaliser against West Ham, which inspired that comeback to win 3-1 last weekend. Kirsty Lavelle has had quite a bit of work to do. They haven't been able to manage a win yet, Leicester City. And she's filled the boots well as a #1 choice goalkeeper for Leicester.
She has, and she'll undoubtedly have a busy game today. It's very tough conditions for a goalkeeper. You can see the rain absolutely hammering it down here at the King Power Stadium, but it's important for her today to just be effective. Don't worry about doing things pretty, don't worry about having to catch everything. Be effective in what you do. And if she has a good game today, then Leicester will have a good game, but it's really important that they build from a solid base at the back.
There's Amy Fern, the referee for this afternoon, as the rain comes pouring down. So Willie Kirk back in the dugout as the players take the knee ahead of kick-off. And it's Arsenal who get us underway. But today a new era begins for Leicester City as Willie Kirk takes charge, on the hunt for their first win of the season. But a hungry Arsenal stand in the way, who are looking to return to the top, at least for a few hours. And Siobhan, Arsenal have been unstoppable at times. How big of a task lies ahead for Leicester today? Monham going straight for goal. Forced an early save from Lavelle. And straight away, Arsenal looking to create early chances in this match and taking Leicester by surprise.
I think the fact that I didn't even get to give you an answer when you asked how tough a task this would be for Leicester tells you everything you need to know. Monham's been absolutely on fire this past few games, and she started off how she's left off with a brilliant shot. And Kirsty Lavelle, as I said, being effective, not worrying about holding on to things in this weather.
Arsenal already with that corner kick. Early opportunity to put the pressure on the home side here at the King Power Stadium.
You asked about how difficult the job was. I think for Willie Kirk, he'll want to see character from his side, resilience, togetherness. This isn't necessarily the game they'll be coming into expecting to win, but he'll want to see those characteristics from his side today.
Nobbs to place it through. It goes to Blackstenius. Off the bar. And already Leicester City coming under relentless pressure from Arsenal as they look for an opening.
A really nervy start here from Leicester. Arsenal setting their stalls out early, saying we're going to come for this, we're going to get an early goal, settle it down, and I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they'll be incredibly relentless with the number of goals they want to score to make sure that they can get their position back up at the top of the table.
Delivery comes in again, and this time headed away, I think by Flint it was. It will be another corner kick.
It was Natasha Flint there with the clearance. Leicester's probably only attacking player on the pitch at the moment, back having to do defending in just the second minute. Probably sets up today's match quite nicely.
Steph Catley with another corner then for Arsenal. Nice to find Blackstenius. Not quite cleared away by Leicester, but eventually finds Vance, who tries to run away with it. Now Whelan. Winreuter. Let's pass through to Catley. Well, Leicester City certainly feeling the pressure from Arsenal early on, who were just trying to find that opening through, just needed to find those clear-cut chances, but this is something that Leicester would have expected, to have the dominance coming at them.
It will. Their final third, I'm sure, is going to be under siege for quite large periods of this game, and Leicester need to try and get hold of the ball and maybe settle the game down a little bit, take the momentum out of it, and just get the ball back from Arsenal would be a start for them.
Forward as she tries to control that ball away from Howard, to by Flint. Now Whelan, who able to get it forward. Now Flint. An opportunity for Leicester. Here's Bott. Simon. Couldn't quite get it past Catley, who was just blocking her way through.
Positive play from Leicester, though. They've got wide players high up the pitch that are normally defenders, so it's going to be a little bit more tricky for them. But if they can keep hold of the ball and build a little bit of momentum, get a little bit of confidence, then it's going to be brilliant for them.
Mead. Katie McCabe. Valti. Steny is trying to find a way through, but it's picked up again by CJ Body. Just tries to travel that ball with Leicester. Wilma Moy. Tony did well to knock that ball away from Jordan Nobbs.
Leicester starting to grow into this game slightly, getting a little bit more of the ball, and Willie Kirk will be pleased that his side have managed to kind of see this through the opening 5 minutes without conceding. They could have quite easily conceded, and then it's a massive uphill task for them. But so far they're standing firm, but it's going to be a long afternoon.
Lavelle. Looking to get that ball forward, but will be picked up by Ford. Over Moy. Quite the best ball, and it hit the feet of the referee, Amy Fern, who will have to stop play.
I think she thought she could let play continue there, but the Leicester player was having other ideas and, yeah, rightly giving the ball back to Leicester and letting them restart their attack.
Now back to the keeper, Lavelle. Tries to give Leicester an opportunity to come forward, but Arsenal at the moment seem to have the answers. Will it be in the back of the mind, Siobhan, that they know that if they win here, they will put the pressure on Manchester United and Chelsea, of course, who are playing later on today?
I don't think they'll worry about the other teams that are going on. They'll know the pressure that there is to win every single game in the WSL because of the limited number of matches and the high quality of the teams that are involved in this title race. They need to make sure that they get 3 points here today. I think that will be their prime concern. Not worrying about what's going on elsewhere, but making sure they get as many goals as possible. I'm sure they'll be looking to do.
Whelan. Here's Aaron Simon. Plunter. And Demi Vance. One of the answers from Willie Kirk in his pre-match interview, the fact that he had brought in some defensive players because he knew how much pressure that Arsenal will be putting onto them today. Demi Vance being one of them.
He's brought defensive players in, but he's also brought in experienced players. You look at the quality of the player that he's brought in, they're all internationals. They've all been around for a while, so they know the job. They know it's going to be a tough game. They know sometimes they're going to have to bank up. They've got to be comfortable out of possession, and that's what he's relying on by bringing in these experienced players to the lineup.
And Reuter was one of the 2 changes today for Arsenal, replacing Noel Moritz. A good block there from Simon. Arsenal have it back. McCabe. Marno. Ford trying to dance her way through, does really well to get in there. There wasn't anyone on the end of it to try and tap it in. McCabe, Ford, really good play from Arsenal. Whelan just putting the pressure on to nick that ball away from Caitlin Ford.
Willie Kirk's tactic of having as many defenders on the pitch as possible seems to be paying off at the moment in terms of bodies in the box. There's so many Leicester players inside that 18-yard box that it's been really difficult for Arsenal to find their feet, to be able to create an opportunity. So I'm sure Willie will be pleased with the performance so far in terms of the resilience and the defensive shape.
Mead trying to tussle her way through. Blackstenius picks up, tries to turn and take a shot away, but in the end it was a tame one and easily collected by Lavelle.
Yeah, comfortable for Lavelle. Should be pleased to get a good handle on the ball, especially when your gloves haven't had a touch for a while in these conditions. But promising again for Arsenal, creating more opportunities.
Now it's back to Plumter. It's also a position that we haven't seen Abby McManus in very often. Usually see her in that centre-back position, but she's in the holding midfield position today for Leicester.
She is. McManus and Tierney both playing further forward than they normally would do. It gives you an idea of Willie Kirk's strategy today of trying to be a bit more solid and kind of limit Arsenal's opportunities, and as well, as I said before, put in experienced players on the pitch.
Challenge there onto Tierney from Wienreuter, giving Leicester City a free kick.
It's a great opportunity here for Leicester in these conditions. Set pieces are going to be important for them, and Gemma Perfield's got a brilliant left foot.
The delivery comes in and it's headed straight back down to the feet of Arsenal, who can try and break. Mead charging forward. Nobbs looking for that cross to find Caitlin Ford. It's headed away. McKay. From Moy through to Velty. McKay with the cross. Almost just skimmed past the face of goal.
It was a great touch there by Lavelle. She wasn't sure on the angle or the drop of it. Decided to get a hand, try and palm it away, and managed to palm it out for a throw-in instead of a corner as well, which was really positive.
Oh, more danger here for Arsenal. They've got an opening. And once again, it's Frida Marnham who is in and amongst the goals for Arsenal. Well, they've had much of the early dominance in this game against Leicester. It was only a matter of time, and Frida Marnham gets the opener. Leicester 0, Arsenal 1.
Frida Marnham's been absolutely unstoppable these last few games. Great strength, great ball across, and she was the first to react. Kirsty Lavelle made the initial save out into a danger area, but it's difficult in these conditions. And as you see there, Marnham first to react into an empty net. Arsenal worthy 1-0 winners at the moment.
Well, Frida Marnham's now scored 3 in the last 3 WSL games. She's been right on form for Arsenal this season. And they have early control in this game.
I think Willie Kirk will be frustrated with that because he had bodies in the box. They just didn't react quickly enough. Marnham showed her quality there, and she was the first to react, to pounce on it and pass it into that empty net.
Nobbs. Here's Marnham. Okay, looking for a way through. This is Ford. To Velty. Just settle things down slightly, that early goal for Arsenal. West Ham took them by surprise last weekend, getting that goal. Dani Brynjarsdottir forced Arsenal to have to come from behind. Zinsberger. Moy under a bit of pressure from Natasha Flint.
Great pressure there from Flint. She's not going to see a lot of the ball up there. She's going to have to work hard. She's going to have to chase a lot of balls down, but she's got quality that if she gets an opportunity, she'll take a pop shot from distance. She's got the quality to lob a goalkeeper. So Arsenal's backline need to stay switched on, especially with Natasha Flint loitering around.
Howard. Simon. To Lavelle. It's already been forced into action a couple of times early on in this first half. Plumter. Vance. Picked up by Nobbs. Hunter doing well to hold on to it. There's Flint. She's lost the ball out to Marnham. Opportunity for Ford, trying to cross it back through to Marnham, but it was well defended in the end by Leicester City.
Great sliding tackle there from Sophie Howard, but Natasha Flint got bullied off the ball there. A little bit deeper than she'd probably want to be, coming deep to get on the ball, to get a bit more involved, but she's got to be more secure with it in those kind of areas at the edge of your box, otherwise Arsenal will punish you.
So more work to do now for Leicester as Beth Mead is ready to take this corner for Arsenal. Decent delivery, but headed away by Whelan. Nobbs back to Mead. Jordan Nobbs looking for that delivery. It was a decent, inviting cross as well. Just missed at the far post by Lotte Wubben-Moy.
It's a lovely delivery there from Jordan Nobbs. She knows the quality of Wubben-Moy there at that back post. Probably doesn't get forward that much apart from at set pieces, but knows that aerially she's got the ability to finish if it's put into that danger zone.
Well, this is the goal from Frida Marnham, who was in the right place, right time, really.
She was a great finish, but she reacted quickest, and that's what gave her that opportunity to score that goal. It was all in the reaction.
CJ Bott able to keep the ball in play. Just about missed there by McManus, and it'll be picked up by Mead. Sent forward for the chase of Blackstenius. Will get there ahead of Plumpton. Stina Blackstenius weaving away inside. Will take a little bit of a deflection from Plumpton, which just allowed Vance to clear it upfield, only as far as Wubben-Moy. Ringreuter with a quick throw for Arsenal.
Arsenal not giving Leicester the opportunity to breathe. Every time the ball goes out of play, it's getting it straight back in, being relentless with their pressure.
McCabe. Catley. How much of a concern is goal difference for a team like Arsenal?
Well, the way the league's structured at the moment, the way the results are going, it's really important, and it's easy to kind of take your foot off the gas at a point in the game like this and just keep possession, but ultimately they need to be scoring goals. With Manchester United, with Chelsea, with Manchester City, with those type of teams around you, you want to get as many goals in as you can, and also it makes it a little bit safer if there's anything kind of goes wrong at the back, any kind of mistakes defensively.
Arsenal conceded their first goal of the season last weekend against West Ham.
And that was a defensive mistake. We've seen how brilliant Zinsberger's been. She's kept so many clean sheets in a row. She'll have been incredibly frustrated with the way that record was lost. But it gives you an opportunity to build, to move on, and to kind of understand your partnerships across that back line.
Arsenal have also had midweek action with their Champions League group stages getting underway. And an incredible scoreline against Lyon, but an opportunity for CJ Bott to try and get forward. We were talking about defensive problems. Catley almost giving it away. Zinsberger there to tidy things up.
Brilliant starting position from Zinsberger, enabled that to be cancelled out nice and early.
Marnham across to Ford. McCabe. Ford again tried the pass first time, but it was well read by Erin Simon.
Yeah, we talk about defensive mistakes, and that's the thing. You can have all the pressure, all of the ball, but it only takes one switch off, one mistake, and Leicester City are back in this game. So Arsenal have got to keep composed across that back line.
This is the way of Marnham. McCabe looking for that cross. Headed away by Vance. Manus. Vance. Trying to outrun there. Wienreuter.
It's a great ball there by Perfield that set Vance away there. Notice they're taking a little bit longer over their throw-ins than Arsenal, trying to increase the time in possession. Trying to reduce the tempo of this match, reduce the pressure on their goal line and try and create an opportunity, even if it's only one or two. Might give them the chance to get back in the game.
Well, a free kick for Arsenal. From Gemma Perfield. Reuter. Moy. There's Marno. Blackstenius is asking for it. Marno travelling with it. Mr. Mead looking for that cross in. Ford is there. Well, it's a great goal for Arsenal to get their second. All Caitlin Ford had to do was make sure it found the back of the net. She did just that. Arsenal well and truly in control in the opening 22 minutes of this game. They're leading 2-0.
It was a brilliantly worked team goal from Arsenal. It all started with a fantastic over from Beth Mead back in her own half. Strong running from her, carried on the overlap. And a great driven ball across with Caitlin Ford there at the back post to tap in. I think Kirsty Lavelle might be a little bit frustrated. Could have slightly changed the angle, got a touch on it. Not sure if she got distracted by a defender coming in at the far post, but I think she'll be frustrated by that. She could have got a touch before it got across to Caitlin Ford, who cancelled out that opportunity to get it into the back of the net.
Well, it's her first goal of the WSL season. Caitlin Ford, she did score twice in that 5-1 victory against Lyon in the Champions League. And she's in and amongst the goals in the WSL, Caitlin Ford. And that was a really well-worked Arsenal goal.
One of the positives for Arsenal is how many different players are getting on the score sheet. If you're number 9 struggling with goals, they've got goals from everywhere, from midfield, from wide areas, even defensively. It's a brilliant all-round team performance so far.
Blackstenius. And to weave a way through, but it's picked up again by Mead. Get away from Whelan. He's comfortably passing it back to a goalkeeper, Kirsty Lavelle. And this is the goal again from Caitlin Ford. A great cross from Beth Mead.
I think Kirsty Lavelle just reacted a little bit late to it. If she'd have taken a step a little bit earlier, I think she could have got the touch. I think she could have made that. She's got the quality in her, but she'll be frustrated and she'll hopefully be hoping to get another early touch in straight after making that kind of potential error to lead to that second goal.
Okay, looking for that cross to find Blackstenius. Manus on the turn. CJ Bott. Simon with the big kick over, but wasn't able to keep it in play.
But Leicester are struggling slightly when they regain possession. They haven't got that many outlets high up the pitch. It's just Natasha Flint up there. And Arsenal have got so many bodies back, but they also get so many bodies in attack. So when Leicester regain, they're not really too sure who to look for and struggling to maintain that possession.
Is that partly because of the way that they have set up, being so defensively?
Most definitely. They're looking to bank up, to stay compact, to not enable Arsenal to create opportunities, which they still have been able to do. So it's a difficult conundrum they're finding themselves in right now.
Ford. McCabe through to Marno. You can see what she was trying to do there, but a little bit too much pace on that ball for Ford to try and collect.
The quality across this Arsenal side is brilliant, though. Every single player is comfortable on the ball. They've all got quality, good skill, good technique. They can rotate in positions and that makes it incredibly difficult for any opponent they come up against.
Jonas Eidevall doesn't look like he's the most comfortable manager at the moment in these conditions. It's very wet and windy here at King Power Stadium in Leicester. Moy. Reuter. McCabe. Marnham. On the turn, doing well to get away from those Leicester City defenders. So just enjoying this spell of possession as they look to come forward. This time stopped in its tracks though by Simon. Led on by Blackstenius to find Mead. Blackstenius tries to find a way through for Reuter.
Great defending there at that back post by Gemma Purfield. Arsenal making this look like a training session. The way they're keeping possession, they're popping it back and forward, 1 and 2 touches, movement, rotation. Just lucky for Leicester that they've only scored 2 so far, because it could have been a lot worse. You see here the movement, and this is the fullback getting high up the pitch. You see Lavelle currently down looking, needing a little bit of medical attention. Sure, she'll be hoping it's nothing too serious, but it could potentially be an opportunity for Leicester to get a little bit of guidance from Willie Kirk about how they need to change what they're doing to kind of stem the flow of attacks of Arsenal.
Well, both managers now giving an opportunity to get some more words over to their players in the opening first half. What do you think Willie Kirk will be saying to his players now?
I think he'll be talking to them about, this is now where you show your character. This is where you show your togetherness. It's a tough game. We know it's going to be tough because we're playing Arsenal. But you can't capitulate. You can't think we're 2-0 down after 22 minutes, 28 minutes now. We can't give up, because this could end up being 8, 9, 10. And that's demoralising for the team moving forwards. And say, be compact. Don't worry about getting forwards. When you get hold of the ball, keep hold of it. Be smart in possession and manage the game well. If you need to keep the ball out of play for longer periods of time, do that. It may not be exciting for us watching or commentating, but it's about how you manage the game to stop Arsenal from having attack after attack and to stop them having so much possession.
Well, you just saw a shot there of Emil Heskey, who is the head of football development of Leicester City Women. Of course, Willie Kirk, before he was appointed Leicester manager, was the director of women's and girls football since July. So a little bit of a reshuffle really in the staff of Leicester. Not had long to really have to make his mark on this team, but he had made 3 changes ahead of this after the news came out on Thursday of Lydia Bedford's departure. It must be a difficult one for Jonas Eidevall to try and prepare for a game when a manager has left only a couple of days ago.
It is, and I think if it had been a top-of-the-table clash, it might have been slightly more significant. I think, no disrespect to Leicester, but I think Arsenal will believe they've got the quality on the pitch. Whatever formation Leicester come out in, whatever team they put on the pitch, they've got the quality to put in a performance and get a result.
And Mead tried to get there ahead of Plumter, but with the clearance. And an important part of Leicester City's defence, Ashley Plumter, she's played in now 27 of the last 29 games. Moy. Nobbs. Purfield. Trying to find Tierney, but the interception there from Moy.
Arsenal just look really comfortable. Even if they do make a mistake, even if they do give the ball away, they work so hard and they've got so many bodies around the ball, they win it back straight away.
Here's Marnham. Hunter in the way. Tierney. Now Flint. The cross to CJ Bott. Howard. McManus in a more usual position. We've been used to seeing her. Of course, this is today her first WSL appearance. She did feature in the League Cup home defeat against Liverpool. That was her only appearance of the season.
She's naturally a centre-back, so seeing her dropped in there, she might be able to organise that back line a bit better. She's very experienced. Give them a little bit more structure and togetherness.
Vance. Led on by Simon. Straight to the feet of McCabe.
It also looks, since Willie Kirk's had a word with them, they've gone more to a back five as opposed to a back four, with dropping Abby McManus in deeper, which will make it more difficult for them to attack, but should hopefully stem the flow of Arsenal's pressure and make it a little bit more difficult for them to break them down.
Mead. Nobbs. Taken away by Tierney. Mayfield doing really well to keep that ball in play. Vance collects. Bit of space now for CJ Bott to chase down. Gets away from Catley as well. It's Bott! Needed the save from Zinsberger, because Leicester are on their way in. CJ Bott denied.
That's Leicester's best move of the match so far. A great touch by Bott here, takes it past her, opens up the shot for herself, but Zinsberger makes herself big and makes a fantastic foot save, and that's why she's kept so many clean sheets so far this season. But a fantastic opportunity for Leicester, and much more promising for them since they've changed this formation slightly.
Well, that certainly was the best opportunity for the New Zealand international, CJ Bott, to try and get them back in this game. They have got themselves a corner. Careful with the delivery. Still not quite cleared away. McManus tries to keep it alive. And into the hands of Zinsberger it goes. She's not had too much to do, Zinsberger, but when it really mattered, she was there.
And that's the sign of a good goalkeeper. When you're in a team that dominates matches, that's very successful, scores lots of goals, you might not be involved that much. But when you get called upon to make the big saves, you're there to make them. And 9 times out of 10, she makes those big saves, and she's done it time and time again. And she's done it here today, and it was a brilliant save. You don't often get as much credit when it's a save with your foot. So goalkeepers should be using their hands. But it's just as difficult and just as an effective save.
Catley. Mead placing it forward for Blackstenius. Beth Mead, first time, took a little touch for the deflection, and it will be a corner kick to Arsenal. But again, Arsenal coming forward, creating that pressure, creating chances every time they come forward.
I think it's the rotation from the midfield players that makes it so difficult for Leicester to know who to pick up. And then they have width, wide overlapping players creating opportunities. Not sure Sophie Howard knew too much about that clearance that went out for the corner, but it's a good job she did, as there was an Arsenal player loitering at that back post, as there always is, ready to slot it in.
Catley will take this corner kick then for Arsenal as they look to extend their lead before the break. Delivery comes in, headed away by Fairfield, and it will be another corner.
Good defending there by Gemma Purfield, a strong header at that near post space. Arsenal haven't really utilised their set pieces as well as I'd expect them to so far. You think with this kind of weather, load it under the crossbar, load it on top of the goalkeeper and make her come out and make a save, make a decision, make it difficult for her.
They're very congested in that 6-yard box as the corner delivery comes in, and it goes all the way in as well. And Catley will claim it. A brilliant corner. Arsenal take full advantage. They lead by 3-0. And Steph Catley, with a superb delivery, found its way all the way into the back of the net.
A brilliant delivery here from Steph Catley. Said about loading it under the crossbar, that's exactly what Arsenal did. I think it was Caitlin Ford that was blocking Lavelle on that post, on the centre of the goal, made it difficult for her to come and collect. And it's gone straight into the goal. I think Lavelle would have some complaints to make there because Ford was backing into her. Not sure whether the referee saw, but if she did, be surprised if potentially it might have been a free kick.
Well, it's not often that we see goals scored directly from a corner kick. Steph Catley has just done exactly that to get her first goal of the season for Arsenal. And in some style, they are comfortably leading 3-0 now before the break. And there were glimmers of hope perhaps from Leicester only moments ago when CJ Bott was making her way through. But Arsenal just quickly shut that door. Loose ball here will be picked up by Blackstenius. Arnhem is making her way into the area as well. Nobbs with a first-time cross. Away by Plumpton. McManus, the player to come to Leicester's defensive needs. A reminder that you can watch the women's football show tonight, 5 to midnight. That is on BBC One. Siobhan Chamberlain will be there. And hear her expert analysis on all of the games today. And the next live game in 2 weeks' time is Chelsea against Tottenham Hotspur. That's Sunday the 20th of November. All the action getting underway at 10 to 1 on BBC One. Howard, McManus. Nobbs. Penalty back to Vavamoy. When you are losing 3-0, Siobhan, like Leicester are in this first half, how important is it not to come out deflated in the second?
Really important, but also really difficult, because you look at the team now, that they will be deflated. They potentially won't have come into this game expecting to get a win from it, but if they worked hard, they defended really well, defended resolutely, they could have snatched a 0-0 draw. But with conceding 3 goals in the first half, potentially more as we've still got 4, 5, 6 minutes left to go, it's going to be difficult for them. So it's a big job for Willie Kirk at half-time to give his team some inspiration, to keep them confident, to keep them moving forwards, and to say it's not about what happens necessarily on the pitch today. It's about the lessons we can learn about what we and how we can develop relationships for the matches coming up.
Calling for a handball on Winreuter. The referee spotted it too, Amy Fern.
She took a while to make that decision, but ultimately made the right one. I think for Leicester, it's potentially, I think they could have taken a little bit longer with that set piece there. They're getting the ball back in play very quickly, and Arsenal are just coming straight back at them. It's time for a little bit of game management, maybe keep the ball dead for a little bit longer.
as it stands, of course, we knew that with a win, Arsenal would go top before Manchester United's match against Chelsea later on today. Mead. Nobbs tries to place it over for Caitlin Ford. It was well blocked, though, in the end by Howard.
Good defensive shape there from Howard. She's had a lot to do this half, and 9 times out of 10 has been in the right position, making that clearance from the cross. But another corner from Arsenal. And I think this time Kirsty Lavelle, if she's put under pressure, if she's got lots of bodies on her, she needs to make the referee aware. As a goalkeeper, I always used to scream at the referee if there are people on top of me. It just makes them aware that there's people there putting on pressure, and it puts the question in the referee's mind: is it a foul? Is it not a foul?
Taking it short this time, Arsenal. Looking for that cross in, but away by Purfield. Velti. Wienreuter. Challenge there from CJ Bott onto Wienreuter. Seems to have just moved onto this left-hand side with McCabe going onto the right.
It's a very late tackle there from Bott. Don't think the weather helped and the slidey pitch. She slid for quite a while, but a definite foul and worthy of a yellow card that she's just received.
It's the first player into the books. CJ Bott. Beth Mead and Steph Catley, the 2 players for Arsenal, who are ready to take this free kick. It will be Mead. To try and place it forward for Ford. Didn't quite work out. Straight into the hands of Lavelle.
No, it was a nice idea. The movement at the near post space, it was free, it was open. Just poor execution, which isn't something that you'd say very regularly about Beth Mead at the moment, so I think we'll let her off.
That's just losing out. Coming all the way back to try and hold that ball. Catley. McCabe. Velti. Wanted by Wienreuter. Moy. Marnham. Nobbs. Took by Tierney. Flint couldn't hold on to it. Howard. Stenia's doing all she can to try and put the pressure on and cause Leicester to make a mistake at the back. Into 2 minutes of additional time in this first half. Velti trying to play through and get past that blue wall standing in the way. McCabe looking to release that ball for Ford. We'll get there ahead of Howard. Here's Marno. And again, line to McCabe. And flags up anyway. I think Katie McCabe knew it as well as soon as she touched that ball.
Yeah, I think the delivery just needed to come a little bit sooner. It was fantastic overlap running from Katie McCabe on that left-hand side. It's what she does best. She gets forward so well from left-back position. But yeah, just drifted slightly offside to Leicester's relief.
Flint. Try something here for Leicester. Nice ball to find Purfield. And Royce just able to take it away from her.
Leicester have had a couple of opportunities today.
But all landing to Flint. Bott. Purfield will try and take the shot on first time, and comfortably enough straight into the hands of Zinsberger.
And that's the difference. Leicester have had opportunities, but when you have those kind of opportunities against a team like Arsenal, when you won't get many, you need to be ruthless, you need to be clinical, and they haven't made the most of them so far today.
Well, there goes the half-time whistle. It has been a dominant performance from Arsenal early on. It was Frida Marnum who was able to break the deadlock early on and make it 1-0 to Arsenal, right in front of goal. Made sure that her shot hit the back of the net, sent it past Kirsty Lavelle. The second came in from Caitlin Ford as well, who made the second. All she had to do was tap it in, but then the wonder goal from Steph Catley, who was able to score direct from a corner kick. It's not often that we hear that, but Steph Catley with her first goal for Arsenal, scoring direct from a corner to make it 3-0. Zinsberger's had not too much work to do, but she did have to come up once to deny CJ Bott, and they've not really had that many chances like Leicester City. They had a glimmer of hope as CJ Bott was through, but that's all about they've had. It's been a really dominant performance in the first half from Arsenal.
It has. It's been a brilliant performance from Arsenal. They've dominated in possession. They've created opportunities. The only one thing you could say is their final third play hasn't been as clean and as clinical as they'd like to see. But to be 3-0 up and to be criticising them like that, it is quite harsh. Leicester have had some opportunities, but when they do, they need to be more ruthless with them, as I said, more clinical, make the most of them, as Arsenal aren't going to give them too many.
Work to do then for Leicester if they want anything from this in the second half. The half-time score, Leicester City 0, Arsenal 3.
Well, a comfortable first half for Jonas Eidevall's Arsenal, 3-0 up against Leicester City. It may be cold, but I think that first half, Anita Asante, has warmed those Arsenal fans up.
Most definitely, because the conditions today are obviously very, very wet, but a comfortable first half for Arsenal, who started off with real intensity, both in attack and defence. They were pressurising every ball to win it back. And I think Leicester couldn't cope with that. They couldn't really find a rhythm. They couldn't secure the ball for long enough to just relieve some of that pressure, and eventually Arsenal were able to break the deadlock.
Let's take a look at some of the goals then that have got Arsenal in cruise control here at the King Power Stadium. And the first goal was all about good reactions, wasn't it, Anita?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in that situation, Kirsty Lavelle, the ball comes in here from a wide area. It's a little bit of trickery from the Arsenal player who delivers a cross into the box. Kirsty Lavelle parries the ball into the centre of the box, which is always the worst area actually for the ball to go to, because in the end, Frida Marnum was the first to react and scores a really easy goal. But the Leicester players, she can't be free in the box in that situation. There's got to be someone who gets close enough to just put her off that opportunity as well.
A third goal in 3 WSL games for Frida Marnum as well. She's enjoying finding the back of the net at the moment.
I think she's got the feeling, and you can see how much influence she has in the team in attack. She finds those pockets very well. In this situation, she arrives slightly late into the box, which makes it also very difficult for defenders to recognise that late movement and get contact.
Well, the second Arsenal goal was scored by Caitlin Ford, and she's been someone that's been so impressive for Arsenal so many times this season.
I've been really impressed with Caitlin Ford all season so far, because she's such a dynamic player. She can stretch, give you width, but she can also come inside into those pockets. And in this instance, she just peels off the back shoulder of the Leicester defender there, and it's an easy, comfortable slot pass finish into the goal. And it starts with that Marnham to Mead combination, and Mead's delivery as well is just sublime. Such a difficult area in between, the goalkeeper and just in behind the defence. It's the worst position for the ball to go into as a defender, because nobody really takes responsibility for that space. But again, they've got to get touch tight to these players. Caitlin Ford can't be free with no contact.
I can tell you're a coach, because I was going to say, well, that was a really good goal from an Arsenal point of view, but still, the ex-defender in you, the coach in you is saying Leicester could have done more. Yeah,
I mean, it's a fantastic delivery into the box. That's the kind of deliveries that we encourage attacking players to make all the time. But as defenders, there's only one player in that situation that can finish the end of that cross, and that was Caitlin Ford. So someone has to be touched tight to her.
Okay, let's take a look at the third goal then. And Leicester are going to be particularly disappointed with this. They were also calling for a foul. What did you make of this, Anita?
Well, the defender says normally the goalkeeper gets the benefit of the doubt. Caitlin Ford is doing her job, blocking the goalkeeper inside the box, her view, but she doesn't really make contact on Lavelle there. And, it's just a straight delivery from a corner into the goal. It's a wonderful
So
wonderful
can Leicester
finish.
have any complaints?
In my opinion, absolutely not, because, it's a lovely delivery. I think Kirsty Lavelle has to be more commanding, push the defender out the way, use her body, be a bit more savvy in there.
Yeah, well, the reason that maybe they were even more frustrated is because at 2-0, they had a glorious chance themselves, didn't they, Leicester?
This is probably the best chance of the half for Leicester. You see that they get a spell of possession. They're able to switch the ball out wide into a lovely position. Lovely bit of individual skill from CJ Bott, who finds herself, almost in a 1v1 situation with Zinsberger. But you have to give credit to Zinsberger, who is able to make a fantastic save here with her feet. But that's the difference. You only get a few chances against the best teams in this division. So when you get them, you've got to be more clinical and finish.
We have, of course, got former goalkeeper Siobhan Chamberlain in commentary, and she was waxing lyrical about that save. It was a brilliant save, and Zinsberger has been in brilliant form. A big reason why Arsenal have kept so many clean sheets, not only this season, but at the end of last season as well.
Well, absolutely. It could come down to goal difference. Arsenal are flying at the moment, scoring a lot of goals. They've only conceded one so far this season, but these games and these results really matter in a really tight, table battle at the top with Man United and Chelsea.
Yeah, and especially given the fact she hadn't really been tested in that first half, to keep the concentration to make a crucial save for Arsenal, who are, of course, leading this game by 3-0 at half-time. Let's take a look at the other scores in the games currently taking place in the WSL. A reminder that Tottenham versus Everton has been postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. No other goals elsewhere in the WSL between Liverpool and Aston Villa, and Reading and Manchester City. A reminder, West Ham versus Brighton Hove Albion gets underway in just over 5 minutes' time. There's a big one later on as well. Manchester United versus Chelsea. That one gets underway at 6:45 p.m. And as we said earlier, we'll have all of the highlights of those on the Women's Football Show for you. Myself, not Anita, I said you were coming, but it's not actually you. Farrah Williams and Siobhan Chamberlain will be joining me for that one. But let's just have a word on the late game tonight. Manchester United versus Chelsea. That has all the makings of a cracker, doesn't it?
Oh, it's an exciting fixture. It's currently Man United sitting in second, obviously having played one game less than Chelsea. But this is really where Man United get to show that they're serious about finishing in this top three. If they get a result today, they're letting everyone know that they mean business and they're going to fulfill their target. And Chelsea, obviously, without Emma Hayes, have had are still getting the results and responded well. So it's going to be an interesting match.
We're just seeing on the bottom of your screens there the WSL table. I know it's early days, but it is so incredibly tight. As it stands, Arsenal going to the top. This is going to be a big test of mentality from Mark Skinner's side as well, Manchester United, to see if they can respond, presuming Arsenal hold on here.
Yeah, absolutely. That they've been saying that they've added more depth to the squad. They've got players that can come in and be adaptable. Players who are in good form as well, Toon, Galton. So now it's about consistency. Now you've got to do it against the top teams and prove that you deserve to really put yourself in that position as title contenders and potentially in Champions League as well.
Really looking forward to that game later. That one gets underway at 6:45 p.m. But there's plenty more other sport coming up on the BBC. A reminder once again that all of today's goals will be on the Women's Football Show on BBC One after match of the day tonight, ahead of the next game of the England Women's Rugby League team. The Women of Steel documentary is on the iPlayer now, and just around the corner there's this.
We all love the World Cup. The World Cup is great. But a funny thing happens during the World Cup, where we're not really our, well, usual selves. Mothers, listen less.
Your forwards have got to be defenders.
Neighbours talk too much. Employees seem less effective. And employers don't seem to care. Lovers are more distant. Masters forget walkies. Even Santa loses his festive spirit. Toilet etiquette goes out the window. And people are less respectful.
Rude.
It's the World Cup, though. Here, once every 4 years. So why not make the most of it?
Yes, we cannot wait for the Men's World Cup. So many games live here for you on the BBC. But today our focus is on Leicester City versus Arsenal. The Gunners 3-0 up at the break here. Not too much for these fans of Leicester City's women's team to cheer so far this season. But there is plenty of good work going on in the local area. And we wanted to bring you the story of local referee Patsy Andrews, who's been leading the way for female, black and Asian referees in grassroots football.
I'd never ever refereed. I'd never thought football was a sport for me. So when that opportunity came along for me to become a referee, it was way out of my comfort zone. I'm Patsy Andrews and this is my story. It was about 20 years ago. I took my son to his football training, and when I went to collect him, the manager turned around and said, does anyone want to do a refereeing course? And at that time, and just like now, I'm a joker, so for me, joking was putting my hand up and saying, oh, I'll do it. When I said that, he said, actually, we weren't talking to you, Patsy, we were talking to the dads. But at that time, I hadn't seen any black and Asian referees, and I hadn't even seen any female referees. So at that time, I got what they all meant and why we all laughed, because it felt acceptable that we weren't talking to the mums, we were talking to the dads. But I went home and I began to think about it. And on the Monday, I got up and decided, you know what, I've got to show my children that women can be referees. It wasn't until last year when I got my first award from the Football Blacklist, when people talked about me being a trailblazer and me inspiring people, did I actually sit back and think, am I inspiring people? Refereeing has become a family activity. My son became a referee. He continues now as an assistant referee on the Championship.
It was all her. She basically, it was her idea. It's changed my life because it's now my career. So yeah, watching her referee and her taking up the whistle has sort of shaped my future and my life.
One day Akil said in one of his interviews that he valued every time he's got a game. I used to text him.
3-4 hours for a game of football or in the morning, I'll always look for my phone, and the only text I look for is good luck today, Akil, and she knows that she has to send me that text for every game.
Every time I've come up against adversities, I stand strong. I believe that football should be for all. Last year was the first time I've seen another black female referee in Leicester. That is just not good enough. So I made a decision to put on an event to raise funds to enable more black and Asian people to become referees. And to this date, we've put 15 people through the course who are now qualified referees. And we've got another 5 people who are going to become qualified referees within the next 4 weeks.
I did my first refereeing last Sunday. It was a great experience. Obviously, I met up with Patsy day before, and because I was nervous, you know, and don't think I slept all that night, you know, just wanted to get onto the pitch. But throughout the whole of the journey, she's been there for me. Absolutely fantastic. Any issues I have, and it's been really good. Really, really helpful.
What I want to do with this journey of my new recruits is to make sure I plug the gaps that were there for me, because I cannot allow anybody to go through what I went through alone.
The fact that she goes out every Sunday, grassroots football on her own, everything she's done, and look what she's done for the sort of trying to help shape the future of refereeing and grassroots football. So yeah, as much as she's proud of me, I'm really proud of her.
Yeah, some really amazing work being done local to us here in Leicester City by Patsy Andrews. And I kind of wanted to talk to you, Anita. You're currently coaching at Bristol City, flying high in the Championship at the moment. Leicester City have made the transition from the Championship to WSL. We've seen them move into their old men's training ground. They play their games here at the King Power. They've got brilliant support, but just how hard is it for clubs to adapt and to kind of change and build to become a WSL, not only team, but club?
Yeah, it is tough. I think you've got to have a long-term process, because a lot of the teams and clubs have come from being semi-professional, if not, not full-time training, not having accessibility to the resources on a day-to-day basis to build the players up to the level that they can compete in this division. So it's that, and it's recruitment, and it's all the things in between. Exposure to this level really, it allows teams to develop.
Yeah, Leicester having a difficult start to the season so far. Let's look ahead to this second half. Then as the players come out, what do you expect from the second? What do you want to see differently from Leicester?
For me, I would love to see Leicester just apply more pressure, on the Arsenal defence. It might require them to tinker with their shape a little bit, just to not allow Arsenal to play in their half so much, And Arsenal, they're just going to keep on going. They're going to keep being relentless, trying to find those opportunities to score.
Relentless is a word that we have become used to seeing from this Arsenal side. 3-0 up at the break against Leicester City. Time now to find out just how this second half is going to plan out in the company of Siobhan Chamberlain and Pete Mullenstein.
Thanks very much, Kelly. Our work to do for Leicester City in this second half. If they want to get anything from this, it was an absolutely dominant performance from Jonas Edeval's Arsenal team, and it was nothing less than we expected, really, Siobhan, from this Arsenal side, who have been dominant in the league so far, and they've already got 3 goals in the first half.
And nothing less than we expected at all. You look at the talent, not just on the pitch for Arsenal, but on their bench as well. The number of players they've got out injured: Sousa, Little, Williamson, Miedema. They've got a really stacked side, and it's going to be difficult for Leicester to find their feet and come back into this game. But it's important for them to kind of stem the flow of Arsenal attacks, be kind of a little bit more compact, make it more difficult for them to play through in this second half.
Well, Leicester City getting us back underway in this second half. Leicester, of course, still looking for their first WSL win of the season. Arsenal, who, of course, broke the record last weekend, 13 straight wins in the WSL, could break their own record today if they win again with 14 straight wins. And they are well and truly on their way to that. 3 goals in the first half. Only one real chance for Leicester City in that first half, which saw CJ Bott try and travel forward, but she wasn't able to get past Sinsberger. We were wondering whether Leicester City were going to make a change in goal, because Demi Lambourne had gone through quite an intense warm-up during that half-time break, but Kirsty Lavelle stays in goal.
Yeah, she was definitely getting very warm. It's not often you see your goalkeepers out doing substantial warm-ups at half-time, but maybe she just felt a little bit cold and wanted to be prepared if anything happened. We saw Kirsty Lavelle go down in the first half. Maybe she has picked up a slight little knock, and Lambourne needs to be ready just in case that there's any issues.
Kirk, the announced manager on Thursday. He was, of course, the former manager of Everton Women between December 2018 and October 2021. Actually faced Arsenal last year. It was 3-0 Everton in that game against Arsenal. There's still 2 players down, actually. Tasha Flint for Leicester. Might have been McCabe as well for Arsenal.
I'm sure there was too much that went on there, but Katie McCabe definitely looking like she was in quite a bit of pain. Tasha Flint also not got up off the floor yet. Good to see McCabe back on her feet.
Both players back up. Didn't need any treatment. Just needed a bit of time. This is what happened.
Nothing too malicious from either player, just looked like a bit of a coming together and a tangling of legs, which doesn't necessarily make it less painful than if there's malicious intent to it.
Moy. Lovely pass to find Blackstenius, who is through here. Can she get around Lavelle? Blackstenius to make it 4. A wonderful goal from Arsenal. A brilliantly picked out cross to find Stina Blackstenius. And she wasn't going to be denied. Arsenal extend their lead. 4-0 up within 2 minutes of this second half starting.
And it all started with an absolutely brilliant timed ball. Perfect from Lotte Wubben-Moy, straight over the back line. Great running from Blackstenius. Lavelle found herself in a little bit of no man's land. And a fantastic touch by Blackstenius, round the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. I think I'd have liked to see Lavelle drop in, make it difficult for the forward. Kind of made her decision easy for her, touch it round her, finish in the back of the net.
Goal number 4 for Stina Blackstenius in the Women's Super League this season. She scored against West Ham last time out. She's back amongst the goals again. 4 different goal scorers for Arsenal. Something that you mentioned, actually, Siobhan, in this first half. The fact that they are able to get the goals from across the field. Stina Blackstenius in and amongst it now too.
I think it's just Beth Mead probably feels like she's missing out slightly. And I'd probably put my money on her getting one in the second half as well, with the form that she's been in since that European Championships.
One of the big talking points for Arsenal this season has been that big victory that they did get over Lyon, that 5-1 win in the Women's Champions League. Stopped the reigning champions. It was a big shock, but did that have a big message for the rest of the WSL season as well, as Beth Mead comes down on this right, looking to release that pass over to Caitlin Ford, who will do her absolute best to try and chase this down. Does well to hold on to it. Blackstenius is asking for it, but Ford keeps on going. Blackstenius is there, couldn't quite get the shot away. Out it goes to Nobbs. Marnott. There's Nobbs again. Under that cross into Blackstenius again. Put away by Manus, and now Perfield to Flint. Well, when we thought that Leicester had an opportunity to come forward, straight away Arsenal creating a chance of their own.
It's resilient work rate from Arsenal. They put so many bodies forward in attack, yet they get so many bodies back to defend as well. That their work rate's fantastic, and Leicester can't really handle it, because as soon as they get possession and try to break, try to get forwards, Arsenal have got so many bodies back defending.
But Simon. Sims couldn't quite get on the end of it. Plumter. Vance wants it on the left, she's in space. Pass cut short by Beth Mead. Melty. Wubben-Moy, and now Catley. What would the thought process have been from Willie Kirk to move Abby Manus back into and change it to a back 5 from what they started with?
I think it's just about making it more compact, making it harder for Arsenal to break down, reducing those gaps for Blackstenius, for Mead, for Ford, and then those midfield runners as well to break through between.
This ball trying to get there first. Caitlin Ford. Marnott holds on.
I think think you spoke before about the confidence that Arsenal would have got from that Lyon victory and the message that it would send to the rest of the league, to the rest of Europe potentially. It would be huge. It was such a surprise result for everybody. Yes, Arsenal have got a great side, but to beat Lyon by the scoreline they did was brilliant, and undoubtedly would have done huge wonders for Arsenal's confidence, and also showing how good the good quality of the WSL at the moment.
Zinsberger. Now Catley. McCabe finding Marner. Has to weave away pass to get the cross in. It was missed by Lavelle and missed by Mead. For Bamoy. She will be desperate to get on the score sheet as well. Beth Mead. She's had an outstanding summer, as you were saying, Siobhan. Already got 5 goals in all competitions for Arsenal this season.
Been kept quite quiet today, though, for her usual self. She's normally in amongst all of the action, goals, assists, drama, everything. But Leicester have managed to keep her quiet so far.
Or Beth Mead to take this. Left by Mead, so it will be Catley. Catley with a delivery straight to Mead. Tries to get away from Perfield, but Perfield doing well defensively to deny Beth Mead from making her way through.
That's what they'll be looking to do more of this second half, trying to stay more compact in those areas. Look, Gemma Perfield's dropping a lot deeper than she was in the first half, doubling up more in that left-back area than a wide midfielder as she was trying to be in the first.
And Leicester want to see a handball from the referee onto Blackstenius, but nothing given. McCabe, Ford, through to Marner. To get past Howard if she's going to do so. Coming away to Bott.
Marnham does so well in possession. Even if she runs herself into a tight space that she can't get out of, she still keeps possession. She doesn't just give it away. She turns back and maintains possession and keeps the attack going for Arsenal.
There was a great opportunity earlier on for Arsenal to extend their lead even further. A good cross in from Caitlin Ford.
I think Blackstenius will be frustrated there. Would have been another one that she could have found into the back of the net. But great movement from her, finds herself in fantastic positions. And for Caitlin Ford, she's another player that's at the top of her game right now, creating opportunity after opportunity, and has been such a handful down this left-hand side for Arsenal.
Arsenal have managed to keep 19 clean sheets in their 27 Women's Super League games under Jonas Edeval. He's got the best clean sheet ratio of any manager in WSL history. They're on course for another one if they can keep Leicester at bay.
And it's clean sheets that builds you titles. If you can start from a strong, solid backline, keeping clean sheets, got a resilient backline that doesn't give away too many opportunities, that's what's going to win you matches, and that's what's going to win you championships. And with the number of injuries they've got across this backline, it's credit to them that they're still managing to continue keeping these clean sheets and continuing to keep these victories coming.
With those injuries to Leah Williamson and Rafaela Souza, Lotte Wubben-Moy, Steph Catley, centre-back pairing for the last couple of games. Well, Moyes actually started the last 6 games now in all competitions.
But Moyes is a fantastic young player coming through, and she'll relish this opportunity to get regular game time, because with that pairing of Sousa and Williamson, it's difficult for her to find match time, no matter how talented she is. So she'll be relishing this opportunity to nail down this starting 11 position.
Nobbs. Nolte. And the turns get away from Bott. Catley driving forward. Okay, with the ball through to Ford. And defended though by Leicester.
Good defending by Leicester, but when they regain the ball, they need to keep hold of it a little bit longer. It's difficult because you look here that they've got nobody outside of their defending third, so it's hard to keep possession and to maintain any kind of substantial attack when you haven't got bodies that far up the pitch.
Let's get the ball taken off it. Arsenal back in control again. Full ball picked up here by Natasha Flint. Bott put under pressure, and it's the ball taken off it by Mana. Finds Mead. Valti. Reuter tried to take it first time, but the shot bobbled into the hands of Lavelle.
Not the cleanest of strikes there from Veen Reuter, but it shows the confidence that this Arsenal side has got to take a shot from distance as a fullback with your weaker foot and to be in that kind of position.
Ford to Blackstenius. Lovely pass over to Ford. Well guided out though by Plumter.
Be interesting to see if either side make any changes. Leicester are working really hard. The work rate that's gone into this match, the amount of running that they've done to try and pressurise Arsenal and get the ball back, it's a tough ask.
Those options through. There will be a change happening imminently for Leicester. Molly Pike getting ready to come on. It was one of the 3 players that were changed. She started their last game against Reading. That is something we won't want to see happening again. 2 goals late on. It seemed to really have been a story for Leicester City this season, is bar that Manchester City defeat, Leicester had kept themselves relatively close to the game, especially in that Reading game where they were leading the whole time 1-0, and then they lost it by 2 goals right at the end.
Yeah, and the same with the Everton match. It was 0-0 until the final minute, and then a goal conceded to lose. It's a real frustrating end to the match for them. That's one of the things that Willie Kirk will be looking to change is the resilience of the team to stay switched on for the entire 90 minutes and not to switch off and allow teams to get those points off them.
Well, here's the change then. Abby McManus, who made her first WSL appearance today, is replaced by Molly Pike, who was played in 28 of Leicester's now 29 Women's Super League games. She started the majority of those, but today had to deal with a place on the bench, and she'll try and do her best in the last half an hour that she's got in this match. But it seems a long way back for Leicester now.
It does, and it looks like it's Sam Tierney that's dropped into that centre-back position that's been vacated.
Here's Beth Mead. Nobbs cross to Wienreuter. She's actually been getting herself in quite advanced positions this game, Laura Wienreuter. Stanius through to Jordan Nobbs.
Both fullbacks have been getting really high, with the fact that Leicester haven't really been posing much of an attacking threat. It enables not just one fullback to go up, but both fullbacks have been attacking at every opportunity.
Beth Mead. They place it across and try the acrobatic finish there. Caitlin Ford, that would have been quite something if that worked out.
That would have been an absolutely spectacular finish for Caitlin Ford had that nestled its way into the back of the net. A brilliant ball in from Beth Mead. Just sets it to herself, sees her on the back post space. Couldn't quite find the target.
That was an exceptional pass, wasn't it, from Beth Mead? Plumter. Bott. We're mentioning the defenders that were out for Arsenal, but of course Kim Little, their captain, not involved today after the injury that she suffered against West Ham. But they do have that depth of squad, Arsenal, which is inevitably, Siobhan, what will set them ahead of the rest in the WSL.
It definitely will, and that's one of the strongest parts of their game, is the depth of their squad. The talent they have on the bench, which I'm sure we'll see come on shortly, is fantastic. You look at that, they're all full international players that would start in most teams in this WSL, and that's what you need if you're going to succeed at every level. They want to succeed at the Champions League, they want to win cups, they want to win the FA WSL. It's going to take a squad and substitutes like they've got coming on.
Lina Hurtig, Mana Iwabuchi and Noelle Moritz, the three ready and waiting on the touchline for Arsenal. Intercepted by Whelan. Vance. Whelan couldn't hold on. They really haven't been allowed at all this second half, Leicester, to create anything clear-cut.
No, they haven't been far enough forward, but at the same time they've limited Arsenal to their opportunities, and I think that would have been Willie Kirk's message. We're not going to win this game now. We're 3-0 down at half-time. It's about shutting up shop. Can we be hard to beat? Can we be difficult to create opportunities against? And when we get a chance, if we get a set piece, can we make the most of it?
Well, here come the triple changes then for Arsenal. Caitlin Ford, who scored the second goal for Arsenal this afternoon, makes way for Lina Hurtig, the Swedish international, who's come on as a sub in 4 of the last 5 Women's Super League games. Well, the next change, we'll see Jordan Nobbs make way for Mana Iwabuchi. Makes just her second WSL appearance this season. And Noelle Moritz is on for Laura Wienreuter. And Jordan Nobbs back on the starting 11. to Catley. They're trying to get involved straight away. Tierney. Touch there from Beth Mead. Free kick to Leicester.
It's always difficult when you have so many changes, especially all at the same time, to maintain the tempo of a match. And as we're about to see, another host of changes happen as well.
So, a couple of changes for Leicester as well, 3 actually. Shannon O'Brien comes on for Natasha Flint. Aaron Simon also makes way for Carrie Jones. And then it will be Gemma Perfield who makes way for Missy Goodwin. So a couple of attacking changes really for Leicester.
A couple of attacking changes, but I'm not sure how much attacking play they'll be able to get involved in. It's more about giving opportunity for players here. Carrie Jones, a really exciting young player. She's done so well on loan here from Manchester United, and she's done brilliantly for the Welsh national team, so she's definitely one to watch, and I'd like to see her get involved a little bit in the game, potentially a bit higher up the pitch than Leicester have been so far.
Mead to Moritz. Valti.
It's like Leicester have changed their entire kind of front three, the players that are doing the running, chasing down balls that they aren't necessarily going to get to, make it hard for Arsenal. They're all young players that have come in to make it difficult for them. Fresh sets of legs.
Mano, Babucci. Hurtig. Good one from McCabe, who looks to get that cross in. Bounced onto the roof of the net.
I think Lavelle got worried for a second there. That might have been looping up over her and dipping down under the crossbar into the net, but evaded any danger. Landed on top of the net as it happened.
There is Carrie Jones, as you mentioned, on loan from Manchester United. Important player as well for the Wales international team. She was part of that World Cup qualification defeat against Switzerland back in October.
So I was saying before about making so many substitutions. You can see that the tempo of the game's dropped slightly, not so much energy in it. It's hard for players to kind of find their way into the game when you make 3-4 changes all at the same time, and especially when both teams make so many changes.
So yes, just tries to steal that ball away, but Jones putting the pressure back. She's won it back to Carrie Jones. And the foul comes in. Certainly has made an immediate impact on this game since coming on, Carrie Jones, the 19-year-old.
Yeah, she's a talented player. You see they're driving forward. It's good to see from Blackstenius as your number 9, your centre forward. Yes, it was a foul, and Leicester won't be happy with it. But from an Arsenal perspective, when you're winning 4-0 and you still see your centre forward tracking back, trying to make tackles, it's a real positive.
Tierney back to Plumter.
Arsenal surprised me the second half. They haven't really come out too much at Leicester. They've been happy to kind of just sit in their shape sometimes, not worrying about the high press. When they're in possession, yes, but don't get me wrong, they're brilliant. They've got great tactical, technical players. But they've been happy for Leicester to be in possession of the ball when they're in their defensive third.
Vance. Through the legs of Moritz, but Warner was there to collect it. Iwabuchi tried to place it through to Blackstenius, but it was well spotted by Tierney. Moritz. Starting to look a little bit more comfortable. Leicester, they're not really letting Arsenal hold on to the ball for too long. Moy.
Leicester definitely looking a lot more structured. You can see a definite 5 at the back, and since they went to that 5, it's been a bit more difficult.
Well, it's been given away, and O'Brien could have an opportunity to take a shot. Couldn't quite find the target. Shannon O'Brien tried to take full advantage of that for Leicester. Missed the target.
She's not been on the pitch for long, and I'm sure she'll be frustrated, as you said. Missed the target. That would have been one of her key targets, was get the shot on target, make the goalkeeper make a save, make the goalkeeper work. But it's a great opportunity for her, and it's good to see Leicester getting the ball in slightly higher positions.
Multi. Ball through to Herzig, but it was taken away by Bott. We'll try and travel with this ball. Give Leicester an opportunity.
Strong play down that right-hand side from Bott. She's dropped in a little bit deeper since Leicester have made those substitutions. Just kind of overplayed that ball down the line. But positive play from her.
She was one of the 3 changes to start for Leicester, and she certainly has been one of the key players in this game. She had that key chance in the first half to try and get something for Leicester.
She's definitely been one of the positives for Leicester. She's had a strong performance, as you said, when she was slightly higher up the pitch. When she had that opportunity, drew a really top save from Zinsberger, and has been strong since she's moved slightly more defensively.
Well, it's Lena Herzig who's down for Arsenal, just getting some treatment at the moment. And let's have a look at that opportunity again from CJ Bott in the first half, which might have just given them a little bit more hope, Leicester.
It's great play from her there, especially considering she's a defender by trade. She's not necessarily an attacker, but the touch that she takes just here to take it past Catley is brilliant. Met by an just as brilliant save from Zinsberger, who came out and narrowed the angle down excellently.
Well, we spoke about the clean sheets that Arsenal have been able to keep. Zinsberger has been a key part of that. Lena Herzig back up on her feet after receiving treatment. Clean sheets so far this season. Before they conceded against West Ham last time out, she was on a run of 9 consecutive WSL clean sheets, which was a record number. So Lena Herzig's not had much time on the pitch. She's already been substituted off. Michelle Aguimang comes on to make her Arsenal debut in the first team in the WSL. The young 16-year-old. Must have been a poor injury for Lena Herzig, because, as we mentioned, she'd only just come on for Caitlin Ford. Only been on the pitch a matter of minutes, and that'll be disappointing for her, especially that long list of injuries that Arsenal are already starting to rack up.
Yeah, really frustrating for Herzig. She hasn't had that many opportunities in the first team since she signed. She's a brilliant player, but when you're winning 4-0, it's not a risk you need to take if you're feeling a slight injury. And a great opportunity here for the youngster.
She did go straight down the tunnel, so will be receiving treatment straight away, I'm sure, Lena Hurtig. I wish her a speedy recovery, whatever the injury may be. Bucci trying to place that through to Aguiamang, picked up by Stenius. This will be chased down now by Goodwin, who'll try and keep this opportunity alive for the home side. Whelan. Howard.
Leicester looking a lot more comfortable in possession in this second half, moving the ball around quite nicely when Arsenal aren't putting them under too much pressure. Shannon O'Brien's looking lively down this right-hand side since she's come on as well, and she's a real positive for them and what they can achieve in today's game.
Catley with the clearance away. Already making her presence known. Michelle Aguiamang.
It's good to see a young player get stuck in straight away, especially an attacking player, making herself known.
Well, her first involvement with the senior team was she was an unused substitute for Arsenal's Champions League qualifier draw against Ajax back in September. She's been an unused substitute in the last 5 games in all competitions as well. Today she has an opportunity to make her mark for Arsenal's senior team. 16 years old.
Great to see young players coming through the ranks and making their debuts. Fantastic opportunity for her at 4-0 up as well. Makes it a little bit less stressful, a little bit less pressure on you, especially as an attacking player that can go out there and show exactly what they can do.
Wabuchi. Back to Wabuchi. Left Mead. Space well to get on the ball, but defended in the end by Bott.
Again, strong play by Bott. She's probably been one of the standout players for Leicester today, both in attack and defence. They're defending really strongly again.
So Jen Beattie will come on for Stina Blackstenius, goal scorer of their 4th goal, the only goal as well in this second half. She's cheered off by the travelling Arsenal fans who have come the distance to see their side. All of the players will be picked up by Marnham. Melty. Advance fouled there by Aguiamang. She certainly has been getting herself involved since she's come on.
She has, and that's exactly what you want to see when a young player comes on, work hard, Try and win the ball back for your team. That's what Arsenal are normally about. Pressing high up the pitch, not letting the opposition get out of tight spaces.
Jones to place a promising ball into the area for Danny Vance, but seen away by Marnham.
Marnham there strong at the defensive end of the pitch. She's been a bit more attacking today, but she's been outstanding, and to see her in the 83rd minute still back defending, being strong. Fantastic touch there by Leah Volti.
Marnham with the ball over the top looking for McCabe. A reminder, you can watch the highlights of this game and all of the rest of the games that are happening today. Plenty to look forward to on the Women's Football Show. That's tonight, 11:55 p.m. on BBC One. Opportunity for Beth Mead to come through. Couldn't quite get the bend on it to find the back of the net. But another opportunity for Arsenal to try and extend their lead further, and of course it was Beth Mead involved.
They haven't had too many opportunities in this second half. Yes, they've dominated possession, but they haven't forced Kirsty Lavelle into too many saves. But here we see this one, Iwabuchi with a brilliant ball through to Beth Mead. Just didn't quite open up enough to curl that round into the far post.
Bott. Marnham. Great drive from Marnham, but it was punched away by Lavelle. O'Brien across to Goodwin. So Goodwin forced back to Bott. It's a decent cross in. Had to get the header away, the defensive header away from Moritz. Volti getting involved there to try and steal that ball away, gets the free kick instead for Arsenal. Well, brilliant opportunity earlier on for Frida Marnham, who decided to have a go at it herself. We know she can hit them, and she absolutely did this time.
So much movement in that shot as well. Lavelle did well to make the save. Really smart stop from her, but shows the confidence of Marnham to just take that kind of pop shot from the edge of the box.
O'Brien. Allowed the shot to come in. Oh, that's a brilliant save from Zinsberger, and she needed it to be tipped over. It was Missy Goodwin who had the opportunity for Leicester, and what a chance that was.
Brilliant play from Missy Goodwin here out on this right-hand side. Just drives at Steph Catley, takes the touch inside, strikes it so sweetly, but Zinsberger is not to be beaten. In a comfortable position from her, it's a save that she'd expect to make, but she does it well, and she does it convincingly and maintains that clean sheet.
Well, she's not been needed too much this game, Manuela Zinsberger, but she absolutely was then. Jones looking to place it in, headed away. Vance. And going forward, this is Mead. O'Brien with the foul for Leicester. An opportunity Siobhan, for you to let us know who your player of the match is today.
For me, it's Frida Marnham. She's been at the centre of everything Arsenal have done today. She's got herself a goal as well. She's been great in attack, and as we've seen not long ago in the second half, she's been good in defence as well when called upon, and she's absolutely in the form of her life right now, and deserved of today's player of the match.
3 in her last 3 WSL games, 3 goals, 3 games for Marnham. There were a lot of talk about Frida Marnham. Of course, she was starting over Vivianne Miedema in the last couple of games. Of course, we've heard the news that came out this week that Vivianne Miedema has been granted a leave of absence, so not part of the squad for this one. But Frida Marnham has absolutely taken those starting places in her stride.
She has, and she'll have been frustrated that she wasn't necessarily getting the credit that she potentially deserved up until the last few games, but she definitely deserves it right now. She's been brilliant all over the place in that midfield, connecting the back to the front, creating opportunities, scoring goals. And if you've got a player like Frida Marnham, when Miedema's potentially not firing on all cylinders, then you're doing well, aren't you?
Well, Arsenal's next couple of fixtures coming up aren't any easier. They've got Manchester United in 2 weeks at home. Then they also have more Champions League group stage matches to come. Juventus, then they've got Everton at the start of December. Then they meet Juventus again. So it's not an easy couple of fixtures for Jonas Eidevall and his Arsenal side, but these will be the games that they absolutely cherish, especially that Manchester United game, which is the next one that they face.
Yeah, it should be a brilliant fixture, and I'm sure Eidevall will be hoping that Hurtig's injury isn't anything too serious, and that some of his players that are out at the moment can make their comebacks and be back fit for that match, because it's one that we're definitely looking forward to watching. And Manchester United currently, well, before this game, top of the league, playing Chelsea tonight, and then Arsenal. They're the games that will be the testers for them to see how worthy they are of title contenders.
As for Leicester, they've got West Ham and Chelsea as their next 2 games. Leicester, who lost their opening 6 WSL matches this season before this game, they're on their way to a 7th straight defeat. Sitting rock bottom of the WSL table. They have had moments of inspiration in this game, though. Those early flurry of goals in the first half from Arsenal really finished the game off.
They did, and it'll be interesting with Willie Kirk coming into the side as manager now from the sporting director type position, whether he makes any signings in January, whether he makes any changes, or whether he's given the opportunity to. Because I think if they are going to survive in this league, they're going to have to strengthen slightly, because they need a little bit more experience, they need a little bit more strength and depth, because it's a tough league to be in.
Wilbermort. Picked up by Pike. Alty. Arsenal well on their way for a 3rd WSL win over Leicester. They won their first meeting 4-0. They won their last meeting 5-0. Back on for another 4-0 victory again today. How do you see Leicester coping with the fact that they still haven't been able to pick up any points yet in the season? And it is a difficult season, and all of the teams at the moment will be hoping they can pick up the points. But Leicester, do you see those moments of inspiration coming for them?
They've got some young, talented players. They've got players that will be coming back from injury. You've got Jess Sigsworth, who's been out for a long period of time. She'll be looking to make her comeback. She's experienced. She can score you goals, and I think that's one of the things for Leicester. They need someone that can put the ball in the back of the net for them, and then they need to be compact and resilient defensively. So there is talent in there. They just need to kind of find their formula, find their way to come together and to grind out, whether it's a draw to start with, to start picking up 1 point or two, and then to start trying to get those victories. But Willie Kirk, I'm sure, is going to have a difficult job with this team, but he's a talented manager and he's got a lot of experience, so I'm sure he'll be hopefully the right man for the job for them.
Well, this result for Arsenal certainly puts the pressure on that Manchester United-Chelsea game later on this evening. Manchester United, who were top ahead of this weekend's fixtures, will find themselves really desperate to try and get a win against Chelsea, which has arguably been one of their toughest tests so far this season. So a happy day for those Arsenal travelling fans here this afternoon. They've seen a flurry of goals from their side. Another big 3 points picked up for them in their quest to try and hold on to that #1 spot. Not quite so happy for them though, is it? And there goes the full-time whistle. Well, it was a dominant performance from Arsenal in the first half. 3 goals for them. It's not been the start to life as manager at Leicester for Willie Kirk. It was Frida Marnham who was able to get the opening goal for Arsenal. Caitlin Ford with the second. Right place, right time to be able to tap it in. Incredible goal from Steph Catley actually to make it 3-0. Stina Blackstenius with the only goal of the second half. So although you can't see it, he will be a happy man, Jonas Eidevall-Siobhan, because it has been a dominant performance for Arsenal.
I'm sure he will be a happy man. He'll be hoping Hurtig's injury isn't anything too serious, but I think aside from the 4 goals that they've scored, I think he'll be pleased that they've got another clean sheet. They'll be frustrated with conceding 1 against West Ham last week, but to keep a clean sheet, 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers, tough conditions out here today, he'll be a very happy man.
So Leicester still looking for their first win of the season, but Arsenal move top of the Women's Super League table. The full-time score, Leicester City 0, Arsenal 4.
Well, a huge win for Arsenal, 4-0 against Leicester City. A tough opening game for the new Leicester City boss, Willie Kirk, formerly the director of football here at the King Power Stadium, took over from the sacked Lydia Bedford. In contrast, though, a good afternoon once again for Arsenal, extending that unbeaten run to 14, stretching back to last season. I watched this one in the company of Anita Asante. Anita, did that game go exactly how you expected it to go?
Yeah, of course. I think the expectation was that Arsenal would win this game. They're a team, you know, in flying form, dominating both in the league and in Champions League at the moment. You know, beating Lyon, they're showing that they have the quality and the depth all round in the squad.
We're watching the players go into huddles now. This is the Arsenal, and I imagine contrasting emotions in both of these huddles. What will Jonas Eidevall be saying to his players?
I think Jonas will be extremely pleased with the performance that he's seen from his players today. He's got 4 different goal scorers as well, so it's a team, you know, that really they can create from many different positions, and they dominated the game. They controlled it and they managed the situations. Even against a side that maybe doesn't create a lot on you, sometimes it's the concentration that you need to maintain throughout those 90 minutes.
Yeah, and the fact it's another clean sheet as well. We spoke at half-time about that big save from Zinsberger. They continued that in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can see that the team all round just feel confident right now. You know, back in defence, Zinsberger coming up with saves and having level of concentration when she's only maybe saved 2 shots the whole game. allows the team to feel confident going forward and allows numbers to get up the pitch in the attack as well.
Yeah, understandably, the camera's also focusing on Zinsberger there. Another clean sheet for her, and she did play her part. A big save in that first half at 2-0. Let's see just what this result does then for the Barclays WSL Super League table. This is how things stand. Of course, Chelsea versus Manchester United is a 6:45 p.m. kickoff, but that result for Arsenal means they're back to the summit of the WSL table, 3 points ahead of Manchester United, and crucially, given how tight it's been so far this season, also extended their goal difference. They're now on plus 17, Manchester United plus 14. So if Manchester United were to win later, it could change once again in terms of goal difference at least. In contrast, though, at the bottom, Leicester still at the foot. Not a point so far this season. That goal difference is even worse now, minus 14. A big job on for Willie Kirk's side. We'll talk about Leicester in just a moment. But these Arsenal fans, Anita, it's been a cold, wet afternoon. It's been a long old journey up the M1 for them today. But they've got plenty of reasons to be loving life at the moment.
They'll be going home very happy despite the weather conditions today. You know, they've been cheering their team on from start to finish, and the team put on a great display for them to celebrate.
Yeah, they did. Once again, another big result for Arsenal. Just a word on Frida Marnham as well, because she was Siobhan Chamberlain's player of the match. Just how impressive was she today?
I thought Frida was fantastic today in the midfield, you know, getting in the pocket space, linking up play, also joining in the attack, getting into the final third, scoring a goal today. But there was moments of magic too. You know, she had some nifty footwork, little jinks in there between 2 or 3 players, and I think you can see that she's really a player who's full of absolute confidence at the moment.
Well, the good news right now is that the player of the moment, the Barclays player of the match, Frida Marnham, does join us down here pitchside. Frida, congratulations. Another big win, another goal, a player of the match award. You must be delighted.
Yeah, obviously it's good to get the win, good to get 4 goals as a team, and we keep building.
I was going to say, you said there about the 4 goals, different goal scorers once again. It feels this season like it's a real squad effort from Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's a strength in our team. We have different goal scorers, and we score a lot of goals.
How do you feel that this season your role is within the team? How do you feel you're developing that at Arsenal?
Yeah, it's different. Like you see, I play more as a 10 this season, or the last games. So I'm a bit higher on the pitch where I like to be, and like to be in the scoring position as well. So yeah, like to be there.
There's been a lot made of the fact that there's no Viviana Miedema at the moment, but have you seen this as your opportunity to kind of show exactly what you can do and that you deserve to be in this starting 11 regardless of Miedema's form?
Yeah, I mean, Miedema is a brilliant player. We all know that. It's tough to compete against her, but at the same time I'm just trying to do my best and do everything I can do in training every day.
Obviously, you guys, you're sitting at the top of the table at the moment. Do you ever look behind you and think, you know, what the other team's doing, or you just
are you going to? What next means? Are you going to be watching the game later between Chelsea and Manchester United?
Basically, yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I think I'm going to watch it, just because it's an exciting game as well. But like you said, I don't think we really look back. I think we're just trying to do one game at a time and try to win and do our best. Yeah, it works so far.
It must be so exciting to be a part of as well, because I know we're so early into the season, but there are teams firing on all cylinders. The fact that Manchester United look like they've really taken a step up this season, it's so tight already. Obviously, you know, 3 points ahead, but there's only 3 goals in it in terms of goal difference as well.
Yeah, it's really tight. It was last season as well. We know it's tight and we need to win every game. Like today, it's a tough game against Leicester and we need to win it. So we just focus on every game and try to win it.
You, 3 goals in 3 WSL matches right now. The confidence just looks like it's running through you. The way you anticipated that rebound to get that goal, you look like you're in potentially the form of your career, is it safe to say?
Big words, but probably, yeah. I'm just enjoying my football, and I love to play football, and you can probably see that outside the pitch as well.
I tell you what, you probably haven't seen the goal back. Would you like to see it? We can show you it. Here, if you take a look at our monitors here. Yeah, talk us through it from your point of view. If you can see that. I know we've got quite a small monitor, but of course it falls out to you on the edge of the box.
Yeah, I actually shoot it with my right. I should have just taken it with my left, because I go with my outside of my foot, but I'm just trying to be where the ball can bounce and, yeah, hit it back of the net.
You're being critical of yourself, even watching your own goals. He's already hyper-analysing.
No, but I thought about it after I did it, but yeah. it's a goal. So I'm just happy about that.
14 in a row now as well. And actually, I should also mention, we're looking at that goal there. Now the sun is kind of out here in Leicester. What was that first half like? Because we weren't enjoying being down here pitch side.
No.
Must have been tough to play in.
Yeah, it was so much rain. I would say it's the English weather, English rain. So I'm kind of getting used to it.
Yeah, you're going to have to, because this is what it's always like, unfortunately, of course. 14 in a row was what I was about to say now. It's a remarkable record. Can you keep this going? Do things feel different this season? Could it be your season?
I mean, I think we have really strengthened this team, that we have a competitive squad. You can see that out there. We changed a lot of players for every game as well, and I think we're doing good as a team, and I think we can just build on that and keep winning.
One game at a time. That's what players and managers always tell us, isn't it? Frida, thank you so much for coming. We'll let you go in because you must be absolutely freezing. Congratulations on another big one. I'll take that from you there. Frida Marnham there, the Barclays WSL Player of the Match today. And as you were saying before, Anita, thoroughly deserved. Does she kind of represent everything that's good about Arsenal at the moment?
Yeah, definitely for me. She's an all-round midfielder. You know, she's got the physique, the physicality. She can do the box-to-box work. But as she said, she likes to play in a 10, where she can be slightly more creative higher up the pitch. She can, you know, she has the vision. She can link players in, but she's not afraid to get herself in positive positions to score as well.
Yeah, positive positions. That was something that Arsenal got into plenty of times, particularly during the first half. Let's take a look at some of the other goals that they scored then. This is their second goal, Anita. This was Caitlin Ford, someone that you've spoken about in such glowing terms so many times this season.
Yeah, I think Caitlin Ford is just very clever. She's managed to pull off, like I said earlier, in the back shoulder, but it's the delivery of that ball that allows that finish to happen as easy as it was, because the pace of it, you know, in a difficult position for the Kirsty Lavelle to defend and her centre-back Plumter to defend, allows Caitlin Ford to just get that run on her defender and tap it home.
If we are going to talk about players in form as well, that pass as well, look at that. All of these Arsenal players at the moment feel like they're at the top of their game, not just the players that are putting the ball in the back of the net.
It's kind of autopilot. They understand each other, where they're going to be. Sometimes they probably don't even have to look up to see where that player will be. They just know they'll be there. Put the ball into space. That's what Mee does in that situation. And she puts the right pace of the ball into the box in a difficult area. It's just about those players putting themselves in a position to get on the end of it.
Do you also think that we're in a second season now under Jonas Eidevall, that we're starting to really see what he's been trying to do with this team? We talk a lot, don't we, about managers needing time. Obviously, he had a brilliant season last year. I'm not saying his job was ever in question, but it does just show that, given a bit of time, the imprint that a manager can have on a team.
Massively, because now you've got a team with multiple goal scorers, as we said, from the defence to the midfield to the attacking line, but also in possession they control the game. They know how to use the width and get their creative players on the ball. Out of possession, they're aggressive, they're relentless, they hunt in packs to win the ball back, and that's Jonas and his intensity.
Yeah, he is very intense. As both people that have worked with him, he's very intense indeed. We've looked at 1-0 and 2-0, so it's only right we look at 3-0. A little bit controversial from a Leicester point of view, but look at all of those players around the goalkeeper there, Anita.
Well, in these conditions, it was the perfect way to utilise a set piece, get a number of bodies inside the box, and, you know, Catley's able to deliver a lovely left-footed cross into a very difficult area, tries to put it under the bar of the crossbar, and Ford does her job. She blocks the goalkeeper. She's not able to get herself free and away from her to defend it.
As a defender, you're very frustrated, aren't you? That's not something that you want to concede from a corner.
Well, especially not a corner, because that's the one thing that you organise for. You practice it all week in training, probably. People, you know, the players know their roles and responsibilities. No player should ever get free in those situations. So they'll feel really disappointed that they didn't do more in that situation.
Okay, just the one goal in the second half after so many in the opening 45 minutes, and it came inside the opening 2 minutes, and it was someone, Anita, that we spoke about pre-match, Stina Blackstenius.
Yeah, Stina Blackstenius, you know, Lotte Moy plays a lovely ball into space, and it's exactly the typical kind of ball that Stina Blackstenius absolutely loves. She loves space. She's a very quick player. She takes that ball into her stride, and it's a comfortable finish in the end. And I don't actually know if she really got the contact that she would have liked on it. She kind of scuffs it on the inside of her instep there, but, you know, at that point, the keeper, there's nothing she could do about it.
Very quickly, before we go, we've waxed lyrical about Arsenal, their 4 goals and what this means for their title challenge. But a word on Leicester City, a first game under Willie Kirk, obviously only appointed just 3 days ago. Where do they go from here?
Well, you know, as Siobhan mentioned and Peen in the commentary, it's a team now that is going to try and learn a lot of lessons from these games. Playing Arsenal today, they weren't expected to get a result. So it's about what have they learned from this game to take into the next game to make them more difficult to beat, especially out of possession. Can they be more aggressive in the press? Can they work in those set-piece situations to not allow players to get free and get easy goals? Make it tougher for teams to score on you.
Well, Anita, thank you so much for joining us in the rain. The sun finally came out here, didn't it? And we saw 4 brilliant goals from Arsenal as they go back to the top of the WSL table. But of course, all eyes will be on that game that kicks off at 6:45, Chelsea against Manchester United. We'll have highlights from that and all of the other games on the Women's Football Show after Match of the Day 2 on BBC One. And we'll be back with more live action from the WSL in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
In the pod. It really is not too much to say that those 2 people changed the world.
And this is just the beginning.
We need a war on dementia.
This is how we create some noise.
We will beat dementia!
The consequences of what they've done are just unimaginable.
The scientific data is inconclusive.
They lie. Press red to watch now on BBC iPlayer.
This is sheer commitment for Rugby League World Cup selection.
Every player in the country competing to get into this squad.
Do your job and do it to the best of your ability.
We don't get paid, we work, we train, we go gym in our free time.
The pressure's on.
Who will make final squad?
We live and we breathe rugby league.
We're better, we're bigger, we're stronger, we're faster. Let's show them.
1, 2, 3,
Women of